Yeah, we're all set to go.
Yes, sir.
All right, and we've got everybody here, so I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Sun Prairie Common Council for August 17th, 2021. Elena, would you read the roll?
Bowling,
Here.
Crombie,
Here.
Jacobs,
Here.
Yokish,
Here.
McElroy,
Here.
Polensky,
Here.
Stevens,
Here.
Stacker.
Here.
We have all 8 of our city council members here, so we have a quorum and we have an official meeting. Would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we are going to move on to our consent agenda items. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Jacobs moves.
Stevens seconds.
And all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. So we have done those. And citizen appearances, Adam and Don, there was nobody. Adam told me earlier there were no survey monkeys. I'm assuming there is not anybody out there that has registered, and nobody has submitted comments. So we are under business of the mayor, and the first thing I want to do is presentation of the James J. Reinecker and the Charles D. Ashley Awards. So let me do those. Is there any report, Aaron, that we do with these traditionally, or should I just go into the proclamations thanking these people for all they've done for the community?
If you're happy to proceed, Mr. Mayor, we'll go ahead.
All right, let's do that. So there were 3 people for the James J. Reinecker Lifetime Achievement Award that were nominated and approved, and 3 for the Charles D. Ashley Award, and all 3 of them were approved. So I see Barb Bailey, I saw Rita Tubbs, I saw Joe Chase. So there maybe are some other people that are going to be there, but I am going to read each of these proclamations and then present them to you. And as I do that, if you each would like to say 1 or 2 sentences, that would be appropriate. I'm going to ask you to keep it brief because we're already running behind on this meeting. So I'm going to begin with the one for Al Guyant. I wonder if Al is there. I don't see him in the mix. He must be missing us. So I'm going to start doing this. Whereas in 1997, the Sun Prairie City Council voted to establish the James J. Reinecker Lifetime Achievement Award. And whereas annually the city bestows the Reinecker Lifetime Achievement Award to a Sun Prairie resident whose efforts over several years deserve to be recognized. Whereas Al Guyant served in the United States Marine
I'm unmuted.
So, whereas Al currently serves as Transit Commission Chair, Community Schools Executive Committee Chair, and core leader of Sun Prairie Area Resource Coalition. And whereas Al serves as Sun Prairie Transportation Steering Committee Chair, Madison Youth Baseball League President, was co-founder of the National Low Income Energy Consortium, and managed 19 local or state election campaigns. And whereas Al's efforts and achievements unequivocally exemplify what it means to be a lifetime servant committed to the community. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Paul T. Esser, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor, do hereby congratulate Al Guyant with hearty congratulations, Al, on achieving the James J. Reinecker Lifetime Achievement Award, and thank him for his years of service. Al, I'm presenting this to you. We'll mail it to you in a couple of days. Do you have a sentence or two you'd like to share with us?
Yes, I do. Everybody who's getting these awards now and years before all know that we never do these things by ourselves. It takes an entire team, and your family has to be behind you. My daughters are here, my lovely wife. And so with that, I'm I'm very appreciative. It is quite humbling, and thank you. And I will stop right there, surprisingly enough.
Okay, thank you, Al, and thank you for being the good person you are.
Congratulations, Al.
We all know you, and it's Pat that's there with you. Patty's right alongside of you, as she has always been. Now we are going to move on to the next one. Whereas in 1997, the Sun Prairie City Council voted to establish the Reiniger Lifetime Achievement Award, whereas annually the city bestows the Lifetime Achievement Award on a Sun Prairie resident whose efforts over several years deserve to be recognized. And now we are going to recognize Barb Bailey. Whereas Barb Bailey has demonstrated her commitment to this community through her many years of service, most notably serving on the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Commission, Plan Commission, and other associated city subcommittees including the Sheehan Park Master Plan, Sun Prairie Parks and Open Space Plan, West Side Master Plan, Central Main Street Corridor Redevelopment Plan, and Sun Prairie Stronger Plan. And whereas Barb also served on the Transportation Committee, the Library Foundation, the Sun Prairie Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, and the Sun Prairie Rotary Club. And whereas Barb feels her greatest contribution to this community was connecting former Mayor Joanne Orphan and Jim Myers from Monroe, Wisconsin, which led to the creation of the Shared Ride Taxi Program for Sun Prairie. And whereas Barb's efforts and achievements unequivocally exemplify what it means to be a lifetime servant committed to the community. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Paul Esser, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor, do hereby congratulate Barb Bailey and on achieving the Reiniger Lifetime Achievement Award and thank her for her many years of service to the community. Barb, thank you so much, and you did not include the Colonial Club in here. I was surprised. You didn't tell us you had been the director for many years in that. That was also a notable achievement. Do you have a sentence or two you'd like to share with us, Barb?
I would like to say that I came to this community in 1996. And as my mom taught me, I have been contributing ever since. And she knew that if everybody gives to a community, it makes for a better place for everyone. Thank you. Thanks to my boys, Mark and Todd, and my husband, Tim Boylan.
Your mother would have every reason to be proud of you, Barb. Thank you for all you've done for us.
Congratulations, Barb.
Thank you.
Now we are going to do Joe Chase. So whereas in 1997, the Sun Prairie City Council established the Reiniger Lifetime Achievement Award, and whereas annually the city bestows the Lifetime Achievement Award to a Sun Prairie resident, whereas Joe Chase is actively involved in various organizations, including the Madison Trust for Historic Preservation, Sun Prairie Historical Society, Patrick Marsh Conservancy, Groundswell, Sun Prairie Business and Education Partnership, and Sun Prairie Chamber of Commerce. And whereas his advocacy has been to diligently educate people of all ages about Sun Prairie's history and promote preservation awareness. And whereas Joe served 3 years as mayor of the city of Sun Prairie from 2015 to 2011, volunteered and created Noxious Weed Abatement Initiative and removed over 2,000 pounds of weeds, served as chairman of the Historical Library and Museum Board, past chairman of the City of Sun Prairie Landmark Commission, and was involved with having 28 of the 30 historical properties in Sun Prairie placed on the National Register of Historic Places and the Wisconsin Register of Historic Places. And whereas Joe's efforts and achievements unequivocally exemplify what it means to be a lifelong service committed to this community, therefore be resolved, I, Paul Esser, by virtue of the authority invested in me as mayor, do hereby congratulate Joe Chase on achieving the Reiniger Lifetime Achievement Award and thank him for his years of service to the community. Thank you, Joe. Do you have a sentence or two you'd like to share with us?
Well, you know, I have a sentence to do.
That's why I said a sentence or two, Joe. There's a time limit.
I'd like to thank the nomination team for bestowing this honor. Especially like to thank my family and the people that have supported me in my community involvements over the many years. You know, I actually knew Jim Reiniger as a friend, and so this is really a meaningful award for me to receive because he was such a community leader. So in my final, I just basically want to encourage the community of Sun Prairie to become more and more involved with and knowledgeable about the rich history of Sun Prairie. And if they want to get more involved, I'm available to them as a resource. And I have a new address for them to reach me. They can reach me at info@sunprairiehistory.org. info@sunprairiehistory.org. And we'll talk history all day and night.
Thank you, Joe, and congratulations. It's well deserved. Now we're going to move on.
Congratulations, Joe.
Congratulations.
Now we're going to move on to the Ashley Awards. And whereas annually, the Charles D. Ashley Award is presented to a citizen of the city of Sun Prairie as having done the most good for the city during each year. Whereas Sunshine Supper was founded in 2010 to serve a hot, healthy, nutritious meal every Monday to all the individuals and families who come in and create fellowship and friendship. And whereas the COVID-19 pandemic brought on many challenges for families and residents in the Sun Prairie community, and whereas Sunshine Supper pivoted to a drive-through model and continued to serve meals throughout the pandemic, providing over 300 hot meals every week to those in need. And whereas Sunshine Supper was recently recognized as a food insecurity fighter by Madison Magazine 2021 Best of Madison Editors Picks. And whereas the city is grateful for Sunshine Supper's service and commitment to its residents and community. Now therefore, be it resolved, I, Paul T. Esser, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor, hereby congratulate Sunshine Supper on achieving the Ashley Award and thank them for their service to the community. So is somebody, am I going to Julie's on there?
Yes.
I see Sue.
I'm on here.
There's Julie. All right, so I am presenting this proclamation to you. You'll actually get it in the mail in a few days. So here it is. Julie is in my screen right now, so I'll say Julie, but it's actually Sue and Lenore as well. Would one of the three of you like us to say a sentence or two in recognition of this?
Sure, I would love to. I just want to thank the nominating committee for recognizing us. We could not have done it without the community support, volunteers, and lots of financial support this year so that we could serve. We actually served about 400 meals. 400 meals each Monday and Wednesday throughout most of the pandemic. So we're really proud of that, but it couldn't have been done without the help and support of the community.
So you did
And we
800.
have a whole bunch of committee members on this meeting or on this call.
And Julie, you did 800 a week, and they aren't just to people in need, are they? So it can easily be somebody like me, an older person that doesn't get out very much. Well, Carol and I have done this. We go there. It can be a social thing. We find it to be very social. And we have needs, but, you know, we got a refrigerator full of food, so it's not people in need, but it's socialization that you make so possible. And I remember from the very beginning when you started this, Julie, that was part of what you had in mind. So thank you all three of you and all of your volunteers. We appreciate it very much. Why don't you say something, Steve?
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. I see Bill Baker on and others also.
Okay.
On the council here, as you know, Alder Crombie and I are part of the committee also. And we would like to acknowledge and thank the nominating committee also. But I think the biggest tribute to this weekly program is when we could meet in person. We had one of our patrons come, and they actually called it the Sunshine Supper Club. So if that doesn't tell you something, that it was more than the meal, it was the social gathering. So very heartwarming to see that every week.
Thank you, all Sunshine people. We appreciate it. Sunshine is near and dear to our hearts in this council. Let's move on. Let's move on to my, yes. Let's move on to my dear friend Rita Tubbs. She is going to be an Ashley Award winner, and appropriately so. No, don't take that one yet. Whereas annually, the Ashley Award is presented to a citizen of the city of Sun Prairie having done the most good for the city during the year. And whereas Rita Tubbs has dedicated herself to serving the city of Sun Prairie in a variety of capacities, contributing over 22,000 hours of service, including volunteering at the Colonial Club, Civic Theater, Ice Arena, Emergency Food Pantry, and St. Mary's Hospital, and was a founding board member of the Sun Prairie Education Foundation. And whereas Rita is an active member and volunteer at Sacred Hearts Church, as a member of the adult choir for 22 years, song leader, Eucharist minister, member of the liturgy committee, Rita has also served as a member of St. Anne's Council of Catholic Women and board member for the Madison Catholic Women's Club and St. Mary's Foundation. And whereas Rita was recently announced as the anonymous $250,000 donor of the Tom and Rita Tubbs splash pad and playground at Wetmore Park, which is the first of its kind in Sun Prairie. And whereas Rita was awarded the Book of Golden Deeds from the Sun Prairie Exchange Club in 2006 and received the Christian Leadership Award from Catholic Charities in 2009. Rita shares that her greatest accomplishment is the raising of her 7 wonderful children. Now therefore, be it resolved, I, Paul Esser, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor, hereby congratulate Rita Tubbs on achieving the Charles D. Ashley Award and thank her for her service to the community. Can't think of anybody, Rita, that is more deserving of this. Thank you for what you've done. Let's see here if you've got a sentence or two to share with us. I see Jeff is there with you as well. Do you have something you'd like to say, Rita?
Well, certainly I'd like very much to thank the committee for this nomination. It's truly humbling to me to receive this, and I'm so grateful. I've lived in Sun Prairie for 64 years, and to me, it's a wonderful city to live, work, play, and to volunteer in. And also, I find it a wonderful community to raise your family. I just feel our children benefited so much from growing up in Sun Prairie. So I'm very blessed to be able to give back physically and financially to the city that's given me so very much. So again, I thank you all so much and know that I will treasure this forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita.
Congratulations, Rita.
It is well deserved.
Mom. Well done.
Now we have Marilyn Ruffin. Oh, there, I see Jerry, so Marilyn must be close by. Marilyn needs to keep an eye on Jerry. Those of us on CDA, we know how that works, Jerry. So let's do this one. Whereas annually the city presents the Charles D. Ashley Award to a citizen of the city of Sun Prairie as having done the most good for the city during the year. Whereas Marilyn Ruffin has dedicated herself to serving the city of Sun Prairie in a variety of capacities, and whereas Marilyn is the first black school board member, having served 2 terms from 2015 to 2021, and is the founder of the Black Excellent Achievement Makers Award, which recently held its 3rd annual event celebrating Sun Prairie's black scholars and adults. And whereas she also co-leads Urban Sun, Black Voices Book Club at the Sun Prairie Library that features African American authors and promotes meaningful discussions about race. And whereas Marilyn currently serves as board member of the Mann Educational Opportunity Fund, charter member of the Links Incorporated, and Madison Symphony board member advisor. And whereas the city is grateful for Maryland's commitment to its residents and community. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Paul Esser, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor, hereby congratulate Marilyn Ruffin on achieving the Charles D. Ashley Award and thank her for her service to the community. And on top of all that, she is just a very kind, nice person. So, Marilyn, do you have a word or two you'd like to say to us?
You know, as a former school board member, I know when it comes to comments that you want to be on too long. But my husband, Jerry, and I moved to Wisconsin 30 years ago this month. And we moved, and all we knew about Sun Prairie at that time was two events. It was the Parade of Homes, and then it was a corn festival. That's about as much as we knew. We moved to Sun Prairie in 2009, and from there, it was nonstop working in the community. So thank you for allowing me to be part of the rest of you. I am just honored to hear your story. So thank you.
Thank you for all you do for us, Marilyn.
Congratulations, Marilyn.
Great job, Mom. Great job, Mom.
There's JT too. We got the whole family. Yeah, good to see you, JT. JT is now on the police commission. You appointed him or approved him a few months ago now. All right, we are going to move on our agenda. Thank you all for being with us this evening. So I have a thing under business of the mayor I want to remind you, and that is that I and Michael Johnson from the Boys and Girls Club have invited you to attend a reception that we're doing tomorrow evening at the Old City Hall on the top floor. So hopefully you can be there. It's an event. They have a lady coming to do training, a professor from Harvard that Michael got to, she said she could do training out here, and she gave him a number, and it was astronomical. And he said, we can't afford that. And she said, well, I'll come out and just do it. That's Michael Johnson, the genius of Michael Johnson. So we'll celebrate a little of the genius of Michael Johnson, but it's really about Lynn Applegate tomorrow night. So if you can be there, I would enjoy seeing you. So now we are going to move on, and we first of all have items from the Committee of the Whole. So this first one, Steve, that is a bit controversial. It's the Sunshine Club, Sunshine Place, and if you would be willing to introduce that and then make the motion to approve it with the dollar amounts, and then we'll get a second, and then we'll go into discussion. And if there is a desire to alter the amount back to what they requested, then somebody can make a motion to amend the motion. So.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, this evening on Tuesday, August 17th, the Committee of the Whole met to consider financial assistance requests from Sunshine Place for rent assistance due to the effects of COVID-19 pandemic and the emergency, or the public health emergency. The Committee of the Whole voted on an amount of $30,000. However, the request was for $21,000. So the amount, as it's being brought forward from the Committee of the Whole, is $30,000, and would entertain a motion to approve.
Well, you make the motion.
Oh, I'll make the motion.
I'm the one that entertains, and you're the one that makes it. Let's get a second on
I'll make a motion to approve.
Jacob seconds.
Okay, now we're into discussion on that motion for the $30,000. Mike?
Yeah, so those of you who were with us for Cow know the beginnings of this. I'm just going to pick up there. Ann cited two barriers to this, and difficulties on the end of the potential users of these monies, and we may not be able to do much directly about that. Faustina addressed that as well. And the other one was a lack of staff on her end. My first thought, because as you know, I first asked about accountability. My first thought before the money was to suggest perhaps an executive on loan from the city to help accomplish this, to help verify the money was spent appropriately. But then it came into the issues of more money. Now, some of you may remember that Joanna, who used to run this, she came to us multiple times. And every time she came, she had to come back again. And I will note the fourth time that I have written my notes here, we offered her more money than she asked for. So this is not without precedent. And that was for the explosion, and which was a tragedy which was peculiar to a small number of people in Sun Prairie. The pandemic dwarfs that in magnitude, the problems caused by COVID-19. So really, if it were up to me, we'd be doing more than $30,000. And I also then looked at some recent notes here. If we can give a pizza place $266,000 to rebuild, we can offer an additional $9,000. Or as the mayor says, this is small potatoes. We can offer that to the people who are struggling the most. So I urge you, my fellow council members, to put $30,000 under Ann's stewardship, and we can be satisfied when we receive a report. Terry explained if Ann had asked for more, I would have voted in favor. She said that during COW. And that suggests that we trust Ann to spend the monies appropriately. And Ann has since said, if you listen to her at the end, that yes, they could indeed use that money. So I'm going to urge us to indeed adopt this for $30,000.
Okay. Is there additional discussion on this item? Terry?
I'd like to offer a friendly amendment to the motion to go back to the original request for $21,000. That was the staff recommendation. I would rather see Ann come back to this body and request additional funds if additional funds are needed.
Is there a second to
So
that?
there's no such thing as a friendly amendment?
Yeah.
And that would be a change in substance.
We
So-
don't do friendly.
Yeah.
Or unfriendly.
I'll second the
We're
motion.
giving you a hard time.
No, there's nothing that can be seconded here, is what I'm saying. There is no such thing. Changing the amount is a different
Make a motion to
motion.
amend the main motion.
Okay,
That's what she's done.
in the change in the amount, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and
And I'll
Bob
I'll
seconded, so now we're into discussion on the amendment to the main motion, which is to bring it back to 21,000. Is there discussion on that? Anybody? Bob?
Well, I just want to make it clear that I know everybody on the council strongly supports the
Yeah.
Sunshine Place. And make that clear, first of all, I think this is just a matter of, this was what the request submitted by the Sunshine Place. This is what was evaluated by city staff. And I think it's appropriate to approve it at that level.
Okay. Teresa?
I'm still in support of 30,000. I know that this organization is very prudent with their dollars, and I would rather them expend their time helping people instead of preparing yet another report to come back to us if there is a gap in between now and when the ARPA funds are actually accessible.
Aaron, I'm surprised you want to speak.
Your microphone's not on.
I'm sorry. I believe the way Sunshine Place's funds were received in the past was a draw system where they could, through staff, draw upon those dollars, and I wonder if that would be a position that the council would consider, is potentially approving the $30,000, but it be the additional funds beyond the 21,000 could be through a draw. Essentially, the Sunshine Place would submit a request to city staff. City staff would evaluate that request. If it was consistent with what you approved the money for the 21,000, essentially to Alder Jacobs's point, they need more money for the same program. That city staff could release that money upon the request of Sunshine Place. So I just want to throw that out as an option for you to consider.
It's a good option, Aaron. As always, you come up with better things than we have.
So from a parliamentary standpoint, we would have to defeat this amendment.
Yeah.
And then adjust the original amendment.
Yeah.
If necessary, okay.
Yeah. And people may still want 21, and then they can come back, and that county money may be waiting and whatever. Is there additional discussion? Let's get the vote then on the motion to amend, which would take it to 21,000. So let's do the vote on that, Elena.
Bowling.
Aye.
Crombie.
She doesn't know the motion. Before we vote, can we have that motion read back?
Yeah, can we? Yes, this is a
That
motion.
was a 21, right?
This is
Yes.
the motion to revert
Motion
to
to
21 rather
amend.
than 30.
Yep, it's motion to amend the motion, previous motion to reduce the amount from 30,000 to 21,000.
So Tina's voting yes, that's what you want to do? She's getting inspiration.
You gave me too much time to think. Nay.
Crombie.
No.
Jacobs.
No.
Yokish.
Aye.
McElroy.
No.
Polensky. No. Stevens.
No.
Stocker.
No.
And that motion fails.
Okay, so now we're back to the main motion at 30,000, and you liked Erin's idea? That we give her the first 21, and then the next 9 she can come to staff for? Terry?
Do we need to restate the motion
I don't
to
think so.
include that?
I think Erin understands. I don't think we need to. We certainly could if you'd like to be explicit about it, but
Erin, would you be more comfortable with that?
Either way is fine.
Let's just stick it the way it is.
Yeah.
We all know what's happening here. Let's stick it the way it is.
I'm okay with that.
it's all fine with that. All right, discussion on the main motion? None, let's get the vote.
Bowling.
Aye.
Crombie.
Aye.
Jacobs.
Aye.
Yokish.
Aye.
McElroy.
Aye.
Polensky.
Aye.
Stevens.
Aye.
Stocker.
Aye.
And that motion passes.
All right, great.
Truth is, I'm actually better with that.
All right, then we, Steve, you've got the next one there, the resolution approving the agreement to undertake development, Cornerstone.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Committee met on, actually earlier this year, and the agreement was for the city to provide construction of an extension of Columbus Street, reimbursement for the dedication to extend Columbus Street and Eggery Road right-of-way up from the development incentive grant of $975,000 to assist with the construction of the new Cornerstone corporate headquarters. And so now we're voting on the financial assistance. I'm trying to find it here. My laptop went out.
We've
Okay,
got Scott on there. Scott?
Yeah, Scott, are you available?
Sure.
I'm trying to find it here. I know it's the TIF.
Yes, this is in TIF 12, the newly expanded area of TIF 12. And this agreement kind of lays out the financial assistance package. So the city is committing to extending Columbus Street along the frontage of the property that Cora will be developing, providing reimbursement for their cost of acquiring the land needed for the right-of-way for that extension and for the future Eggery Road right-of-way, and then providing that $975,000 economic assistance grant. Cora, on their part, will be making a $14 million capital investment in the site that will include construction of a new headquarters and manufacturing facility. We estimate that the future assessed value of that will be $8 million in new tax increment. Ellers, as directed by the Committee of the Whole, Ellers did do a financial review of Cornerstone, and that came back positive. We also have wrapped into the agreement both company and personal guarantee as requested by the Committee of the Whole. Basically, the Cora is committing to ensure that the tax revenue that they will be generating will exceed our debt service payments. So they're guaranteeing that their tax increment will be enough for the city to pay its debt service for those improvements and the incentive. So that's the parameters of the agreement. Staff is recommending approval, and I'd be happy to answer any specific questions that anyone has about the agreement.
Okay, so do you do the motion first?
Please.
Okay, so the motion would be to accept the $975,000 to Cornerstone as an incentive, last-in funds, if I read this correctly, Scott, where we would provide that assistance to them for infrastructure. That's the motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah, among other things. It says here approving agreement to undertake development with Argus. So I think that's the resolution approving that agreement. So that should be your motion.
Right.
Resolution approving the agreement.
That's correct.
Agreement to undertake development with Angus Properties LLC.
Right.
Let's make that the motion if you're good with that, Steve.
I'm good.
Let's get a second on that.
I'll second it.
And now we're into discussion. Is there discussion on that agreement? Okay, I hear none. Let's get the vote.
Bowling.
Aye.
Crombie.
Aye.
Jacobs.
Aye.
Yokish.
Aye.
McElroy.
Aye.
Polensky.
Aye.
Stevens.
Aye.
Stocker.
Aye.
And that passes.
All right, thank you. We've got a couple more, Jim, before I congratulate you. Now we're coming down to the Plan Commission, Maureen.
Okay,
We've
thank
got
you, Your Honor.
3 items there.
The first item has to do with Cora Stone Company, LLC. On Tuesday, August 10th, the Plan Commission held a public meeting to consider a request by Cora Stone Company, LLC, for approval of a 2-lot certified survey map to create 1 outlet and 1 lot along the west side of the 1700 block of Columbus Street, and to dedicate the right-of-way for Columbus Street and Egri Road. The commission found that the proposed CSM is in compliance with requirements of the City of Sun Prairie subdivision ordinance, is in the best interest of the community, and should therefore be approved. And then after carefully reviewing the request and after making its findings, the Planning Commission voted to recommend unanimously that the City Council conditionally approve the proposed certified survey map. And I'll make a motion that we recommend that we conditionally approve this.
Stevens, seconds.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. We're into discussion. Is there any discussion on this item? I see none. Let's get the vote.
Bowling.
Aye.
Crombie.
Aye.
Jacobs. Yokish.
Aye.
McElroy.
Aye.
Polensky.
Aye.
Stevens.
Aye.
Stocker.
Aye.
And that passes 8-0.
All right.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Yep. The next item has to do with Cora Stone Company, LLC again. And basically on Tuesday, August 10th, the Plan Commission held a public meeting to consider a request by Cora Stone Company, LLC, for approval of a precise implementation plan to construct a company headquarters with manufacturing and outdoor storage along the west side of the 1700 block of Columbus Street. The commission found that the request complies with the requirements of the General Development Plan and other applicable plans and regulations, provided that the conditions of approval listed in the attached resolution are met in full by the applicant. And then basically after carefully reviewing the request and after making its findings, the Plan Commission recommends that the City Council conditionally approve the requested PIP. And I'll make a motion that we move forward and approve the the requested PIP.
McElroy, seconds.
And we're into discussion on that. Is there any discussion? I see none. Let's get the roll.
Bowling.
Aye.
Crombie.
Aye.
Jacobs.
Aye.
Yokish.
Aye.
McElroy.
Aye.
Polensky.
Aye.
Stevens.
Aye.
Stocker.
Aye.
And the motion passes 8-0.
Thank you. Maureen, before you do the next one, let me do one thing here.
Okay.
So Scott, is this now all the approvals that Jim Durham and Cora Stone need from the City Council? The rest is going to...
That is correct. There'll be a few staff approvals of things like their stormwater management plan and getting their building permit and building plans approved, but this is the last approval that will come to the City Council.
Okay. So Jim, this is my opportunity to congratulate you. We are pleased you're coming into Sun Prairie. We're looking forward to your development. It's going to be a great addition here, and I hope you're as excited to be in our community as we are to have you coming here. And thank you for your patience and perseverance. And Kate Crowley is alongside of him. So they've been dealing with us, and John Gunderson too has been there with it. So we appreciated it, all of you. Thank you. We're looking forward to it. So now, Maureen, let's go on.
One more item on the Planning Commission, and it has to do with Roars Investments, LLC. And basically, we met on August 10th, and we held a public meeting to consider a request by Roars Investments, LLC, for approval of a precise implementation plan for a 172-unit multifamily development located south of West Main Street and east of South Wildwood Street. We found that the request complies with the requirements of the General Development Plan and other applicable plans and regulations, provided the conditions of approval listed in the attached resolution are are met in full by the applicant. Basically, the Plan Commission reviewed the request, and after making its findings, the Plan Commission recommended that the City Council conditionally approve the requested PIP. And I'll make a motion that we approve the requested PIP.
And is there a second to that?
McElroy seconds.
Second. Now we're into discussion on the PIP. Mike?
Yeah, I just want to say something about this because I voted against this originally. I got some calls about this asking me to oppose the PIP. And in the discussions, I recognized that the people who were calling me didn't understand or appreciate what the PIP is. So I just want to make a statement for those people. So at this stage, this development has been approved. The PIP is simply the fine-tuning of the exact things that are going to happen. It's beyond the point of saying, no, this cannot happen. So I just want to make sure that you're understanding that.
Okay. All right. Steve?
I have a question for the developer. Ross, would you be available for a question?
Yes,
so I understand that there's a economic request along with this property that's been filed with the city. If that doesn't happen, will that change at all, this PIP, or will that be modified? Will we see anything cheapened on this?
No, the PIP will not change.
Okay, so it's independent. This will go on as is regardless of whether you get that assistance later on.
Yes, I mean, that's correct.
Okay.
The project itself will not change. The number of units will not change. The finishes will not change. The building itself will not change.
Okay, thank you.
Is there additional discussion on this item? I see none. Let's do the roll.
Bowling?
Aye.
Crombie?
Aye.
Jacobs?
Aye.
Yokish?
Aye.
McElroy?
Aye.
Polensky?
Aye.
Stevens?
Aye.
Stacker?
No.
And that passes 7-1.
All right. And we are under new business and action required, resolution approving a budget amendment for this WEDC CDI grant contract, some number.
Yep.
Taylor?
Yeah,
Taylor, are you going to introduce this one to us?
Yes, I can talk briefly on this. This is a budget amendment to accept those grant funds. It's just procedure on how we accept revenue and then the expenditure of that revenue to issue out that grant once that is being requested. So just procedural for this, and the motion would be to recommend the budget amendment.
Okay. So let's get a motion to approve, and then we can get into discussion. Is there a motion to approve?
Jacobs moves.
Second?
McElroy
Polinsky?
seconds.
Oh, somebody else did?
Teresa McElroy did.
Terry did?
Right.
Now we're into discussion on this item. Any discussion? I see none. Let's do the roll.
Bowling?
Aye.
Crombie?
Aye.
Jacobs?
Aye.
Yokish?
Aye.
McElroy?
Aye.
Polensky?
Aye.
Stevens?
Aye.
Stacker?
Aye.
And that passes 8-0.
Okay. And then also new business requiring action resolution approving an amendment to the Smith's Crossing McCoy Addition Phase 2 Development Agreement. And in my notes, Scott, I have your name alongside of that.
Yes, I'll cover this. Viridian Homes had been in discussion with the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Commission earlier this year about some improvements to Outlot 89 in the Phase 2 of the McCoy Addition. Basically, they would like to add 2 pickleball courts and then some other improvements like a small shelter and a bench swing and an overlook area. And the proposal is to cost share those improvements 50-50 with the city. So Viridian would actually pay for these improvements. The city's share would be reimbursed to Viridian through park impact fee credits as they pull building permits. So over time, the city's share would get paid off. The estimated project cost is just over $235,000. So the city's share would be about $117,600, and staff recommends approval.
All right. So let's get a motion to approve, and then we'll get into discussion on this. Is there a motion to approve?
Jacobs moves.
I'll second it.
Now we're into discussion. Is there discussion on this item?
Yeah, just, Scott, do you have a timeline on this?
I believe they want to get some of the work done this fall. Kristen may know more. I believe Kristen Grissom may be out in the audience as well. She may know more, but I believe they want to get some of the work done this fall and probably finish up in the spring. It is a project that, because the city is cost sharing, does need to be publicly bid. So there's a process associated with this before they can get started on the construction.
Should we ask Kristen if she's got more to add to the timing?
I don't have more to add. That's accurate. They want to start as soon as possible, and probably won't finish this fall yet, but finish up in spring.
Okay. Any additional discussion on this? None? Let's get the roll.
Bowling,
Aye.
Crombie,
Aye.
Jacobs.
Aye.
Yokish,
Aye.
McElroy,
Aye.
Polensky,
Aye.
Stevens,
Aye.
Stocker,
Aye.
and that passes 8-0.
All right. Now we're on to referrals to the Committee of the Whole. Are there any? I haven't heard anything this evening that sounds like that. So I have an item under announcements. I meant to do it under business of the mayor, and I didn't make a note. We have our new associate city clerk, deputy city clerk. I get it
Yes.
wrong every time. With us, and we, Elena and I, want to introduce you to her as Yesarina. Did I get fairly close this time?
It's close. So her name is Yesenia Arce, and she joined us about 3 weeks ago. Now it is, yes, and so she is the deputy clerk, and will also be assisting with these meetings going forward.
And she has been with the city of Fitchburg, so she is experienced in this and experienced in elections.
Very.
A real asset, so it was a good choice. She's replacing Jennifer. It was hard to see her go, but it is pleasant and nice to have you with us, and all your experience will be valuable to us. I'm happy to be here. Thank you. Great. Welcome. All right, any other announcements? Anything, Steve?
No, just move to adjourn.
Okay, a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay?
Aye.
Thank you all. Thank you for your time this
Thank you.
evening.